High Admiral Tyrannox of the Nexari Dominion stood before the Strategic Council, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's purple lights. His report was met with dismissive clicks and whistles from the assembled council members. Primitives. First speaker Zalora pronounced, her neural tendrils writhing with contempt. Their civilization hasn't even unified their planet. They wage wars over crude fossil fuels and invisible territorial lines. With respect, first speaker, Tyrannox's voice resonated through his thoracic chambers. Their technological progression is unusual. They achieved atomic fission before developing reliable electric vehicles. They reached their moon before eliminating poverty. Their development pattern defies our understanding. All the more reason to establish dominance now. Second speaker Mrav interjected. Their resource-rich world would serve our expansion perfectly. Send the diplomatic fleet, standard procedure, overwhelming show of force, demands for submission, integration into the Dominion. Tyrannox felt his secondary heart flutter with unease. In his 3 centuries of service, he'd overseen the integration of 17 species into the Dominion. None had shown the peculiar characteristics of these humans. The diplomatic fleet assembled in high orbit around Mars. 12 capital ships, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent, arranged themselves in the traditional Dominion formation. At their center, the flagship Eternal Dominance prepared to broadcast the first contact message. The humans' response was not what anyone expected. Their primitive detection systems shouldn't have noticed the fleet's arrival. Yet within hours, their global communication networks erupted with activity. Instead of panic, there was coordination. Instead of chaos, there was purpose. The first warning came from Lieutenant Akara. Admiral, we're detecting unusual radiation patterns from Earth's surface. Before Tyrannox could respond, the humans struck. Not with weapons, but with mathematics. Complex quantum equations flooded the fleet's communication systems, exploiting a fundamental flaw in Nexari encryption that no species had ever identified before. The humans had reverse-engineered the principles of Nexari technology just by observing the fleet's energy signatures. Ship after ship went dark as human-designed viruses tore through their quantum processors. The Eternal Dominance's systems remained partially functional, allowing Tyrannox to witness humanity's true first contact response. A message, broadcast simultaneously in every language, the Dominion had in its database. We know who you are. We know what you've done to others. We will not submit. We will not be conquered. And you will remember this day as your greatest mistake. Tyrannox watched in horror as small craft emerged from Earth's atmosphere. Primitive by Dominion standards, they appeared to be hastily modified civilian vessels, but they moved with impossible precision, their trajectories defying standard combat algorithms. Impossible, Zalora whispered, her image flickering on the bridge's failing holographic projector. They couldn't have prepared for this. We never revealed ourselves. They didn't prepare for us specifically, Tyrannox realized, his exoskeleton paling. They prepared for everyone. They assumed first contact would be hostile. The human vessels didn't attempt to engage in direct combat. Instead, they maneuvered through the disabled Dominion fleet, attaching small devices to each ship's hull. Analysis showed they were crude but effective particle accelerators, hastily adapted from their scientific research facilities. They're not trying to destroy us, Tyrannox announced, his voice heavy with revelation. They're studying us, learning, adapting. The devices activated simultaneously, sending precisely calibrated energy pulses through the fleet's hulls. Where Dominion shields would have stopped traditional weapons, these pulses resonated with the crystalline structure of their technology, causing cascading failures throughout every system. Within 6 hours of first contact, the mighty diplomatic fleet of the Nexari Dominion hung dead in space. No weapons fired, no traditional battle fought. Just the quiet, efficient dismantling of everything the Dominion believed about their technological superiority. The final message from Earth came directly to Tyrannox's personal communicator. somehow still functioning. Your ships are disabled. Your crews will be evacuated to Earth. They will be treated well, studied, and eventually returned to your space. This is not cruelty. This is education, both yours and ours. The galaxy should know. Earth is not your staging ground. Humanity is not your resource. We are your wake-up call. As escape pods were launched toward Earth's surface, Tyrannox realized the Dominion had fundamentally misunderstood the nature of advancement. The humans hadn't developed in a straight line because they weren't solving problems in order. They were solving them all at once, messy and chaotic and brilliant. They hadn't prepared for invasion. They had prepared for evolution. The Nexari Dominion had never faced an enemy like humanity. 3 months after the diplomatic fleet's capture, their military strategists still struggled to comprehend their defeat. In the chamber of war, Supreme Commander Kylax faced an unprecedented crisis. "They're releasing our crews," reported Intelligence Director Mera, her crystalline form dimmed with confusion. Not all at once. Small groups, seemingly random. Each returned soldier brings back detailed accounts of their treatment. Treatment. Kylax's defensive spines bristled. Education. Cultural exchange. Medical care. They'd been studying us, yes, but also teaching. Mera projected a hologram showing returned crew members. "They're sending our people back with gifts, books, art, music, history, psychological warfare," growled Kylax. "No," Mera's voice softened. "Something worse. Understanding." The Dominion launched its response with overwhelming force. 300 warships, the largest fleet ever assembled, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. This time, they would not underestimate the humans. But humanity had spent 3 months preparing. The fleet's first warning came when their long-range sensors detected something impossible. Thousands of small objects approaching at relativistic speeds. Space debris, accelerated to near-light velocity by repurposed particle accelerators. The humans had turned their entire asteroid belt into a weapon. Evasive action. Kylax commanded, but physics itself worked against them. At these speeds, even dust-sized particles carried devastating kinetic energy. Shields designed to stop energy weapons proved useless against simple rocks moving at relativistic speeds. 20 ships were destroyed in the first wave, not by advanced weapons, but by pebbles hurled by human ingenuity. The Dominion fleet regrouped, adjusting their shields to account for kinetic impacts. But the humans were already launching their next attack. Thousands of small craft emerged from hidden bases on Mars and Venus, bases that hadn't existed 3 months ago. "Impossible," whispered Kylax's tactical officer. "They couldn't have built those facilities so quickly." "They didn't build them." Mera's voice came through the command channel. "They printed them. Those aren't bases. They're disposable launch platforms, created from local materials. Use once, abandon, print more." The human craft didn't engage directly. Instead, they released clouds of nanoscale particles, modified from their primitive medical technology. The particles didn't try to breach Dominion shields. They simply coded them, learning from each impact, transmitting data back to Earth. The Dominion's return fire found only empty space. The human craft moved with unpredictable precision, their trajectories calculated by artificial intelligences that had spent 3 months studying Dominion combat patterns. "They're not fighting us," Mera realized. "They're teaching themselves how to fight us." Each engagement revealed more of humanity's adaptation. They had taken the captured technology from the diplomatic fleet and not just replicated it. They had reimagined it. Quantum computers repurposed into targeting systems. Shield generators modified to create localized time dilation effects. The Dominion's technological advantage of centuries was being dismantled and reassembled by human creativity at an impossible pace. Then came the true horror. The captured diplomatic fleet, now crewed by humans, emerged from behind Earth's moon. Not restored to their original state, but transformed. Hybrid vessels combining Dominion technology with human innovation. Look at the design modifications. Mara's voice shook. They didn't just learn how our technology works. They figured out how it could work better. The hybrid ships moved like nothing Galaxy had ever seen. Where Dominion vessels relied on brute force and overwhelming firepower, these ships danced through space. They used gravitational slingshots around planets, solar wind as propulsion, and modified shield harmonics to bend weapon fire around their hulls. Fall back, Galaxy ordered, but it was too late. The humans had positioned quantum-entangled communication relays throughout the solar system. The Dominion's retreat was predicted and countered before the command was even given. The battle lasted 26 hours. When it ended, half the Dominion fleet was destroyed. Not by superior technology, but by the creative application of fundamental physics and determined human ingenuity. The survivors received a transmission from Earth, not a demand for surrender, but an invitation. Your remaining ships are welcome to dock at our orbital facilities. Your crews will be treated with respect. We will share with you what we've learned. This isn't about domination. It's about evolution. You tried to conquer us. Instead, let us teach you. In the chamber of war, Galaxy watched the playback of the battle with growing understanding. The humans hadn't just defeated them. They had changed the rules of warfare itself. Each engagement wasn't just a battle. It was an experiment, a learning opportunity, a step in humanity's accelerated evolution into a spacefaring civilization. They're not just defending themselves, Mara observed. They're preparing for what comes next. The Dominion isn't the only power in space and humanity. Humanity is getting ready for all of them. The silent war had begun, not with the thunder of weapons, but with the quiet revolution of human innovation. And the galaxy would never be the same. The Nexeri High Council faced an unprecedented crisis. 6 months after their failed invasion of Earth, the data streams from their border outposts had stopped. Not destroyed, simply silent. In the dim light of the council chamber, Archon Valdera received the latest intelligence report with growing dread. The humans are expanding. Strategic analyst Corvin projected a holographic map of Nexeri space, but not how we expected. They're not taking territory. They're taking knowledge. The map showed dozens of Nexeri research stations, mining facilities, and observation posts, all intact, all operational, all mysteriously disconnected from the Dominion's quantum network. They learned our protocols from the captured diplomatic fleet, Corvin continued. But instead of using that knowledge to destroy our infrastructure, they're improving it. Each facility they visit shows a 300% increase in efficiency before going dark. Valdera's crystalline form pulsed with concern. Show me. The hologram zoomed in on Research Station Epsilon 7. Human ships had appeared without warning, bypassing defense systems using protocols they shouldn't have known existed. But instead of attacking, they initiated contact. They offered the station's personnel a choice, Corvin explained. Continue their research with human assistance and upgraded facilities, or accept safe passage back to Nexeri space. 70% of the staff chose to stay. Similar scenarios had played out across Nexeri space. Humans arrived, demonstrated technological innovations that should have been impossible, and then simply collaborated. They weren't conquering. They were recruiting. This goes beyond military strategy. A new voice interrupted. Dr. Solara, the Dominion's leading xenopsychologist, stepped into the light. They're not just fighting our forces. They're challenging our entire civilization model. The council chamber erupted in murmurs as Solara projected her findings. Look at their method of expansion. They find our facilities, show our people a better way to achieve their goals, and then let them choose. It's devastatingly effective because it's genuine. They're not pretending to be superior. They're demonstrating the benefits of collaboration. A message intercepted from a converted research station appeared in the hologram. We're achieving in weeks what would have taken years under Dominion protocols. The humans don't just provide technology. They provide perspective. They ask questions we never thought to ask. They find connections we never saw. They're not our conquerors. They're our catalysts. But the true revolution wasn't happening in the outer reaches of space. It was unfolding in the heart of the Dominion itself. Our quantum networks are experiencing evolution, Corvin reported, his voice trembling. The humans didn't hack our systems. They introduced ideas, self-improving algorithms, learning protocols. Our own technology is beginning to think in human ways. Valdira watched as the holographic display showed the spread of human influence. It wasn't marked by destruction or conquest, but by sudden spikes in innovation, efficiency, and scientific breakthrough. They're not trying to defeat us, Celera concluded. They're trying to transform us. And the most dangerous part, it's working. The evidence was undeniable. Stations touched by human influence began producing research that challenged centuries of Dominion doctrine. Hybrid technologies emerge, combining Nexari precision with human creativity. And through it all, Earth remained untouchable, protected by defenses that grew more sophisticated with each passing day. We're receiving a transmission, Corvin announced, from Earth's Solar Defense Council. The message was simple. Your empire was built on the assumption that advanced technology equals advanced civilization. We're proving that assumption wrong. Join us in discovering what else you might be wrong about. In the depths of space, a Nexari patrol fleet encountered something impossible. A human research vessel, alone and seemingly vulnerable. Following standard protocol, they moved to capture it. The humans responded by transmitting their shield specifications that showed improvements the Nexari had never imagined. We could disable your ships, the human captain transmitted. Instead, we'll show you how to make them better. Your choice. The patrol fleet's commander made the same choice countless others had made. They listened. They learned. They evolved. Back in the council chamber, Valdira faced the truth that would reshape the Dominion forever. We invaded Earth expecting to find primitive creatures we could dominate. Instead, we found teachers who could elevate us. The question is no longer how to defeat humanity. The question is, are we willing to learn? Across Nexari space, more facilities went dark, not falling to conquest, but rising to collaboration. The humans hadn't just turned the tide of war. They had made war itself obsolete, replacing it with something far more powerful, shared evolution. The galaxy was changing, one choice at a time. And at the center of it all, Earth continued its work, preparing humanity and its growing network of allies for whatever might come next from the depths of space. The emergency session of the Galactic Conclave had never seen such chaos. Representatives from 12 major spacefaring civilizations gathered to address what many were calling the human problem. At the center of the vast chamber, the Nexari delegation faced accusations from their former allies. You've gone mad. The Kryvax ambassador's tentacles writhed in agitation, willing collaboration with a primitive species, sharing advanced technology. This violates every protocol of galactic order. High Speaker Valdira of the Nexari stood calm, her crystalline form gleaming with an inner light that hadn't been there months ago. Perhaps it's time those protocols were questioned. The chamber erupted in outrage, but Valdira continued. We thought ourselves advanced because we had powerful weapons and efficient systems. The humans showed us we were stagnant. They didn't defeat us. They awakened us. A holographic projection appeared above the chamber, showing the transformed Nexari territories. Research stations pulsing with new energy signatures, ships moving with impossible grace, and most disturbing to the assembled ambassadors, Nexari citizens displaying unprecedented levels of innovation and independence. This must be stopped, the Kryvax ambassador declared. We will not allow human chaos to spread through ordered space. Our combined fleets will quarantine the Earth system and the chamber's quantum communications array activated unexpectedly. A human face appeared, wearing an expression that the aliens would later learn was called a smile. Good evening, representatives, the human said. I'm Dr. Sarah Chen of the Earth Diplomatic Corps. We apologize for interrupting, but since you're discussing us, we thought we should join the conversation." The Kryvax ambassador's color shifted to rage purple. "How dare you penetrate our secure? Your security protocols are based on mathematical principles developed by the Nexari 3 centuries ago." Dr. Chen interrupted politely. "We solved them last Tuesday. But that's not why we're here." The human's image was replaced by a galaxy map. Hundreds of points of light began to glow. "These are your observation posts watching Earth," Dr. Chen's voice continued. "We've known about them since our first contact with the Nexari. We didn't disable them because they're excellent transmission relays for sharing information." The map zoomed in, showing data streams flowing from Earth to every corner of the galaxy. Not weapons specifications or military secrets, but research papers, scientific breakthroughs, cultural exchanges, art. "You've been trying to understand how we defeated the Nexari fleet," Dr. Chen explained. "You're asking the wrong question. We didn't defeat them. We showed them a better way to grow. And while you've been debating how to contain us, your own people have been watching, learning, choosing." The map shifted again, displaying thousands of facilities across multiple civilizations' territories, all showing signs of human-inspired modification and improvement. "We didn't need to invade," Dr. Chen said. "We just needed to share ideas. Your scientists, engineers, and artists, they're already collaborating with us. Not because we forced them, but because we asked questions no one had thought to ask before." The Kryvax ambassador slammed his tentacle against the podium. "You'll destroy everything we've built. Our order, our hierarchy, our control," Dr. Chen suggested. "Yes, that's already happening. But what you're getting in return is something far more valuable. Potential." New data streamed across the holographic display. Breakthroughs in quantum mechanics that challenged millennium-old theories, medical advances that crossed species barriers, engineering innovations that merged multiple civilizations' technologies in ways previously thought impossible. "You see conquest because that's what you understand," Dr. Chen continued. "We see connection because that's what humanity does best. We take ideas from everywhere, combine them in new ways, and share the results. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to explore it, learn from it, grow with it." The chamber had fallen silent, every ambassador transfixed by the cascade of innovations flowing through their secure networks. "You can't stop this." Dr. Chen's voice was gentle but firm. "Your own people won't let you. They've seen what's possible when we work together. The only question is, will you join them?" Valdira stepped forward, her crystalline form resonating with new frequencies. "The humans have a saying. A rising tide lifts all boats. We thought we were their victims. Then we thought we were their students. Now we understand. We're all explorers together." The Galactic Conclave would debate for days, but the outcome was already decided. Throughout civilized space, barriers were falling, not to conquest or coercion, but to curiosity and collaboration. Humanity had changed the rules of galactic power not through superior force, but through superior imagination. They hadn't just refused to be conquered. They had made the very concept of conquest obsolete. And in research stations, ships, and colonies across the galaxy, people of all species began to ask new questions, seek new answers, and imagine new possibilities. The hunt for dominance had been replaced by the hunt for knowledge, and every discovery made them all stronger together. 1 year after the Galactic Conclave's historic session, the Sol system hosted an unprecedented gathering. Ships from every major civilization hung in high Earth orbit, their designs a striking fusion of traditional forms and human-inspired innovations. Below them, the planet that had transformed galactic society continued its relentless evolution. In the newly constructed Turan Observatory, former Supreme Commander Kylax of the Nexari Dominion stood beside Dr. Sarah Chen, watching Earth's lights glitter through the station's quantum crystalline windows. "Do you know what my greatest fear was?" Kylax's crystalline form shimmered with remembered anxiety. Not that you would destroy us, but that you would make us irrelevant. In a way, that's exactly what happened. Not irrelevant, Sarah corrected, checking data streams on her neural interface. Just different. The Nexari are still master crystalline engineers. You've just found new ways to apply that mastery. The observatory's displays showed the fruits of their collaboration. Nexari crystal technology, merged with human quantum computing, had created new forms of consciousness. Ships that were part machine, part living crystal, capable of intuitive decisions that neither species could have achieved alone. The Kryvax finally joined the exchange, Sarah noted, gesturing to a massive bioorganic vessel entering orbit. They held out the longest. They had the most to lose, Kylax observed. Their entire society was built on biological hierarchy. The idea that innovation could come from anywhere, not just their designated thought leaders. Change isn't easy, Sarah agreed, but it's inevitable. We learned that long before we reached space. A notification pulsed through the observatory systems. The first graduates of the Galactic exchange program were ready to present their projects. Sarah and Kylax made their way to the presentation chamber, where representatives from every major civilization had gathered. A young Nexari scientist stepped forward first, her crystalline form incorporating organic elements in a way that would have been heretical a year ago. Our team has developed a new form of faster-than-light travel, she announced. By combining Kryvax bioengineering, Nexari crystal matrices, and human theoretical physics, we've created drives that don't just bend space. They harmonize with it. Project after project demonstrated the power of collaborative innovation. Cures for diseases that had plagued species for millennia. Communication systems that worked through empathic resonance rather than traditional signals. Energy production methods that tapped into the quantum fabric of reality itself. They're so young, Kylax marveled. A Nexari presenting theories that challenge our oldest laws. A Kryvax proposing democratic reformation of their hive mind. Even my own children now ask questions I never dared to consider. Sarah smiled. That's the real victory. Not defeating enemies, but creating a future where our children can imagine things we never could. The presentations were interrupted by an urgent message. Long-range sensors had detected something approaching from intergalactic space. Something massive. Unknown. Potentially hostile. The chamber erupted in activity, but not panic. Representatives from different species formed instant working groups, combining their unique perspectives to analyze the threat. A year ago, this would have sparked a war over who had the right to respond, Kylax noted. Now it's just another problem to solve together, Sarah agreed. Shall we show them what collaboration really means? The response fleet that assembled to meet the unknown visitor was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Ships of every species, their technologies intertwined in ways that defied traditional classification. Crews mixed and matched for maximum innovation potential, all guided by the simple human principle: face the unknown with curiosity before fear. As the fleet moved out, Sarah received a message from her daughter, now studying xenobiology on a Kryvax world. Mom, my host family took me to see their ancestral spawning grounds today. I think I've figured out how to help them restore the damage from their industrial age. The solution was in their own bacterial symbionts all along. They just never thought to look there because it wasn't considered a proper source of knowledge. The children born today will never know a galaxy divided by species, Kylax observed. They'll only know one that's united by questions. Sarah watched the response fleet vanish into faster-than-light travel, their new drives leaving trails of quantum harmony in their wake. That's the real story here, isn't it? Not how humanity defeated an invasion, but how we all learned to stop invading and start exploring. Together. The unknown visitor would arrive soon, finding not a collection of competing civilizations, but a galaxy transformed by human curiosity and collaborative spirit. Whether they came in peace or war, they would discover the same truth the Nexari had learned. In a universe of infinite questions, the only real victory is finding better ways to seek answers. and Earth's lights continued to shine, no longer a target for conquest, but a beacon for innovation, reminding every species that the greatest power in the universe isn't the ability to destroy or dominate, but the courage to imagine and create together.